Guys, I'm going to need you to sit with me for a second because I've found the answer for you. I've found the answer to a question that some of you may not have even known you were asking. And it's got nothing to do with this. See, you've been conned. And this is a con that's been going on for decades. And it's evolved into something that's pretty unhinged. It's always been kind of unhinged, but it's never been quite this unhinged on the face of it. But maybe that's just the world we live in. Now, while I'm not a fitness expert and I'm not a psychology expert, I am a style expert. I am an expert on fashion and clothing, and that is where my big secret that I'm about to tell you today comes from. It's okay to dress a little bit slutty sometimes. This is a secret that's not necessarily been kept from us, but it might be a secret that some of the ladies and days in your life may not have felt comfortable with sharing with us because we might not have been in a place to receive it. You may not be in a mental space to receive it now, and that's okay. And if something about my message here frustrates you or makes you uncomfortable, that's okay. But I'd consider sitting with it and thinking about it because I think this is a very worthwhile and important message for you to hear and think about. But Phil, what are you talking about when you say these words, it's okay to dress a little bit slutty sometimes? What does that mean? How can you use a word like that? We use that word as a pejorative here in our Western culture. Well, what I'm actually talking about is you need to have a willingness to express yourself fully in a way that feels comfortable for you, in a way that makes you feel confident. You need to lean into having features, say. Now, how might you do that? Well, that's going to depend on your personal aesthetic and your target audience, say. But I have a few methods that have worked for me that may help you. See, these self-appointed manosphere influencers and a large part of this culture have a lot of men convinced that if they commit the unforgivable crime of having features, they're immediately going to have their gender and sexuality questioned, and they're going to face relentless shame for it. Or at least that's what they've been taught to think will happen. And heaven help them if they actively choose features arbitrarily assigned to a gender that isn't theirs. To that end, there can be no greater sin for a man in this incorrectly structured cultural style paradigm than to apply a feature that is not only not for him, but it's also considered a pejorative against the people it is normally applied to. So, the hesitation or fear of dressing a little slutty sometimes is only natural, but it can and should be overcome with practice and intention. Sometimes dressing a little bit slutty sometimes might manifest itself as slipping off your tie, wearing a suit casually, which we have a whole tutorial on, just by the way. Try undoing one more button than you normally might. just to see how it feels. Conversely, sometimes it might mean dressing up a little bit more than you normally would, especially if the people around you aren't used to seeing it. Details matter, like a tie bar, suspenders, or the way you roll up your sleeves can mean a great deal. Sometimes it could come down to the choice of a lighter, more playful fabric for a jacket, or it may be revealed in your choice of accessories. But more than this, dressing a little bit slutty sometimes also comes with an attitude, a relaxed, playful, curious confidence, which will develop over time as you practice it. There are plenty of reasons why you might dress a little bit slutty sometimes. It can help you become more comfortable with your body and display that comfort to others. It can lessen the stigma and lessen discomfort for people around you. And it may even help you communicate to your chosen audience. You don't need to obsessively destroy your body through unsustainable exercise routines and diets to achieve the look that you want. You should exercise, but in a way that you actually enjoy and that helps you feel and move better in life. You don't need to isolate yourself and distance yourself and insult and degrade the people around you to make yourself better. You need to go out and form community with people by learning things like empathy and kindness. Look, the point I'm really trying to make to you here is that Looksmaxxing is stupid. So I want you to picture a mountain in your mind for a moment. I want you to picture that this mountain is covered in litter and the ecology is failing, the plants and animals on it are dying, and it's just fallen on hard times. So, if you've been tasked with restoring this mountain, with helping it recover and become an attractive place to tourists, do you pick up the litter, introduce healthy things to the ecology, or, instead of doing that, do you blow up the mountain with dynamite and jackhammers? And that, to me, is what Looksmaxxing is. It's the empty promise that you will be accepted if you destroy yourself by conforming to an impossible ideal. If you want to make yourself more attractive, then that is going to involve learning and discovering more about yourself and displaying that with your self-expression. Instead of rigid self-destruction, you should be engaged in comfortable curiosity. That's what's going to help get you what you want. This is the answer, the real answer, or at least the part of it that I am qualified to provide as a style guide. Think about what I've said. Let me know what you think in the comments. And thank you for listening.